Hey, good evening, folks. It is Friday, May 9th, 2025, and welcome to the scene. Um, Thanks for listening, wherever you may be listening. Um, just to let everybody know, next week I'll be doing a little bit of rebranding and hopefully dual streaming between Twitch and YouTube. So, um, hopefully, there's good things to come there. I really want to try to get everything up and running on both halves. Um, and I appreciate everybody, sticking with me last week. It was kind of tough. Um, I mean, last Monday it was kind of tough. Putting that out there in the air, and just the support that I received, both on TikTok and those who talked to me live. I got to tell y'all make it easy for a man to be vulnerable and just entrust certain secrets, not even secrets, just inner feelings, kind of deal. And that's the kind of thing that I hope for, with launching this. But not every episode is going to be like that. Most episodes, I'm really trying to chill and talk about some news with y'all. Um, Maybe even debate a little back and forth. Right. So what we have today is a couple of interesting topics. One is the arrest of the Newark mayor Ross Baraka. Um, the governor, uh, the governor for New Jersey, Governor Philip Murphy, he put out a statement. I'm outraged by the unjust arrest of Newark Mayor Ross Baraka earlier this afternoon outside of Delaney Hall in Newark. Over the past few months, Mayor Baraka, as well as advocates, faith leaders, and members of a congressional delegation, have protested the opening of a private immigration detention center in the city of Newark. 4 years ago, I was proud to sign a law banning private immigration detention centers in New Jersey, and just last week, my administration was leading the fight to defend that law before the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. Mayor Baraka is an exemplary public servant who always stood up for our most vulnerable neighbors. I'm calling for his immediate release by federal law enforcement. This that's tough. Like, so the state doesn't want. We get back to the debate of states' rights, right? Like, and not every state wants the same thing. Um, Personally, I think a state should dictate what gets built there. Like, if they don't want certain, such as a immigration detention center there, they should have the right to not have one. Uh, but it's just this divide in our country just keeps getting bigger. I mean, and there's two sides to every coin. He didn't technically he was trespassing, but that's protest, honestly. Um, Hell, even during the civil rights days, black people were technically trespassing. Um, but I mean, sometimes you just gotta. If that's what you stand for, I say go for it. I really don't have much against it. The divide in this country on Twitter though is insane. But that's just that. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. I just had to go ahead and figure something out. But anyways, yes. So Mindy has joined us, and yeah.
Just reading about it now, it seems it's like the title seems so misleading when it says that he was arrested at an ICE facility while joining Democrats to conduct oversight. But the problem is, it sounds like he was like warned not to trespass. So is it an investigation that's like legit, or was it like they just let themselves in and trespassed?
From this video footage, like they didn't go into the facility; they were outside of it. They were on the property, which is the.
That's
It
still the
looks,
same thing.
yeah, like it looks like they were on the property, and they were told to go away. Uh, and Representative LaMonica McClever attacks law enforcement after storming the facility. ISIS facility. Yeah, they got pretty damn close on it. Um, mm,
All right, who's this Coleman person? Democratic Rep Bonnie Watson Coleman. She said, "We've heard stories of what it's like in other ICE prisons. We're exercising our oversight authority to see for ourselves. Do they have authority or do they not? Because if they don't, then they're trespassing. If they do, why were they arrested?"
so I'm no law professional, but I think technically ICE facilities are federal.
Mm-hmm.
So if
I
you
mean,
are
that's
a
right.
state representative, you do not have any authority of that building. But see, here's the thing. Here's the crazy part. So the governor, because he put out a statement that I just read just a second ago. He basically put out a statement that let's see, he signed a law banning private immigration detention centers in New Jersey. I don't know when,
Oh,
but he did sign this into law. And just last week, his administration was leading the fight to defend that law before the Third Circuit Court of Appeals.
but
So
can the federal government override what he says?
it looks like they did. Whether they can or they can't, they did. The detention
Mm.
center's there. So they went ahead with what they were doing, and
Yeah, but
they've
if
been.
if they can't, then can't the state seize the property?
You are asking the wrong guy. I know nothing about that. It's all just. It's literally.
It's
Let's.
interesting because like McIver also thinks that they have the right to do so because there's a quote here from her that says, or him, her, him, I don't know, um, her maybe. Um, as congressional members, we have the power to conduct oversight. That's what we're here to do. Well, I need to find out what that actually means then.
Let's find out.
Oh, I wanted to touch on the thing that you ended on. Monday,
What's that?
our girl Lisa.
Yeah.
So So here's my thing with that, okay? So I had to do a little bit. We watched a video and things like that on it because I brought it up with my siblings who were a little bit more into the K-pop thing.
Mhm.
And so her entire outfit was Louis Vuitton
Uh huh.
by Pharrell. It was designed by a black man.
Yeah. So that you remember I asked the question on Monday, like,
What does
why?
Pharrell have to do with this?
Yeah. What
Yeah,
does Pharrell have to do with this? And I found that out
that's what it is.
later. Yeah.
Yeah. So is it still as offensive because a black man designed it and he okayed it?
No, it was so. The more I thought about it over the week, right, I realized she probably didn't realize what she had on.
Absolutely not. And she probably thought it was a good thing.
Yes, she was. She was like, "Oh, this looks beautiful." It'll. And I
I
like we don't.
mean,
I don't know what details Pharrell gave her about the outfit. So she
you're
probably.
empowering black women. That's what you're embodying.
So like Pharrell, you need to come out and say something because it wasn't her that picked it.
Well, here's the whole thing. If you watch the video, Pharrell loves what he designed.
I mean, it's not a bad outfit in his
I
defense.
mean, she needs pants, but you know, but but aside all of that, like that's also probably why his wife wore the same Louis Vuitton tights.
That's fair.
Um, and I was asking my sister about it because she's seen the leaked tapes, and she's like, they were kids, man. Number one, they're not even from the United States. They have no idea what English word they're saying, and they were told to say said lyrics, right? And they were like, some of them were like 11. They don't know
11.
the words. Yeah, they were really young in these audition tapes.
Oh,
They
well,
didn't
damn.
know.
All right. Well, you know what? Hey, man, not everything needs apologizing. Then it's like, so again, that takes us back to it's on the label, whoever that
Yeah,
label
like
is.
people want to be extra and stuff. Don't be blaming the people when they don't know better. Because sometimes they're kids.
Yes, but see, I think also the problem is that there's been no acknowledgement by the group since then. They know what it is now.
Would you want to dig up something like that?
It's already been dug up, so why not jump
I
ahead
know.
of it? Like,
Agreed.
like people are talking about it, so it's like, why not say something in your defense? Maybe the label doesn't. Oh, maybe the label won't allow them to say something. Maybe that's part of their contract.
It could
That
be
could
that
be it
too.
too.
hmm
So
It
there's,
also could be that they don't have. I think Lisa has a decent grasp of English, but it's still not great. None of
yeah,
them are American, I don't think. Some K-pop groups have Americans on them.
yeah, like La Seraphim does. They have one who was born
Correct.
in Brooklyn. I think it is. I think she was
Oh, I
born in
can't
Brooklyn.
remember.
But
I
yeah,
don't know. No, my sister could spell it all out for you, but I can't.
yeah, she's like American Korean and fine as hell too. I'm sorry, I am live. What am I doing? Um, but yeah. So I mean, I'm not really mad at her. It was what it was. And like I said, the more I thought about it during the week, I was like, she didn't dress herself.
Mm-mm. I mean, she okayed it. She put it on, but she
Yeah,
didn't
she
know.
okayed it, but it's she didn't dress herself like somebody somebody, whoever her publicist or fashion agent or whoever, which is apparently Pharrell. Which shout out to
Yeah.
Pharrell. Which Pharrell, you're a wild man for that. Like why? Like I understand if you just put them on the jacket, right? Because like the jacket, that'd be cool. You could just leave it on the jacket. Why did you
I don't
put them
even
on
think
the
people
panties?
noticed. I don't think anybody noticed that they were on the jacket. They were so
Nobody.
focused on her crotch.
I can tell you they didn't. So that video, I uploaded a reel on TikTok, right? I uploaded that clip on TikTok where we're talking about that. It has gotten 14,000 hits, but only 7 comments. Um, and like, uh, they're just, yeah, nobody noticed the jacket. Not one of them mentioned the jacket. One of them asked me, "Are we sure it's Rosa Parks?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I think it is." Uh, but yeah, so that poor girl. I mean, she wore that thing though. I'm not really mad at her. God help my soul. The Met Gala has some
Um,
crazy fashions though. Like,
it looked nice. It looked nice. I mean, again, maybe some pants, but it it looked nice. We we're still trying to figure out what the theme was supposed to be for this year's Met Gala.
there was a theme. There's a theme.
There's there's always a theme.
Get the fuck out of here. There wasn't no
hmm
damn theme to this shit. Like all these outfits, I can't tell what the theme was because who was it? It was Lauren Hill. Literally looked like an Austin Powers villain. An Austin Powers Gold member villain. Excuse me. Like I don't see any connection between any of the wardrobes at all.
They're trying to be creative.
And Lil Nas X's outfit, he looks like a JoJo's villain. Like it's just
Hmm. The Met Gala's theme this year was super fine, tailoring black style.
what what.
The accompanying super fine tailoring black style. The accompanying dress code was tailored for you, focusing on menswear and the history of black dandyism.
The hell is black dandyism? Hold on. You know what? When I learn new school words, I just go and look them up. What is black dandyism?
The exhibition explores the role of clothing in shaping Black identity within the Atlantic diaspora.
So,
I don't know.
black dandyism is a cultural movement and fashion style in which black people use clothing and personal style, specifically the historically European sensibility of the dandy, as a form of self expression and a way to address the societal limitations. Beginning in the late 19th century and early 20th century after emancipation, with much traction, especially gained during the Harlem Renaissance, it was chosen at the Met Gala's theme for 2025. What the fuck is a dandy? Is a man who places particular importance upon physical appearance and personal grooming, refined language, and leisurely hobbies. A dandy could be a self made man both in person and persona who emulated the aristocratic style of life regardless of his middle class origin, birth, and background, especially during the late 18th and early 19th centuries in Britain.
It's funny because to me, you know what it actually kind of screams to me is the cloak and dagger skin,
Which one?
the pantsuit one.
Yep, no, that sounds about right. That's pretty much what a dandy is. So black dandyism is literally being well put together during an affair, which I don't know. I guess that kind of explains Future's outfit too, because like he cut his locks off. I'm not gonna call him dreads. We're not doing that. He cut his locks off,
Hmm.
and now has short hair and looks strangely like uh this legendary Detroit drug dealer, Big Meech. He looks like his son. Like I was like, is that little Meech? No, that's fucking Future. Why are you cut your locks off? Well, I'll be damned.
Mm. Pharrell was a co-chair.
That explains a lot. And he decided, but how was her outfit black dandyism? It's just because it was black
It's
women on
that
it.
it's that look, right? So he decided to twist, like, take it and go with like classy things because it's lace, and it's still technically like a pantsuit jacket.
That's fair. All right, I can see that. Okay, so as long as you were wearing a pantsuit, which makes sense. Yeah, no, when I think about it, there were a lot of pantsuits.
You see what I'm saying? It's like that kind of like that look.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what?
Because
Look.
like Zendaya wore like a pantsuit thing with a giant extra hat. Somebody else wore something very similar. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, so did ASAP and I think Rihanna had on a pantsuit kind of thing. She had like, well, she had a suit jacket, but she was wearing a dress.
So you know, it's funny because when if you watch the video from when she's getting dressed for the Met Gala and Pharrell goes in to check on her, they have the whole thing on a video, and they talk about why they chose this and yada yada yada. Um, you know, she was talking about how she likes being in black because it makes her feel empowered. Um, and she started out with um like a blazer almost, like a satin looking blazer that was black, solid black,
Mm-hmm.
around her shoulders first. And he said, just keep that on, think of it as like the curtains, right? And at some point you're going to do the big reveal and you're going to take that off.
It's regarding Lisa.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, it definitely got her the attention. Pharrell should have definitely just been beside her when she did it.
I know.
Like Pharrell, you set her up for you set her up for the hokey doke.
A lot of misunderstandings.
There wasn't no misunderstanding. There was a
So here's where
misunderstanding.
here's where the pantsuit part comes into play, because a lot of it is bespoke tailoring. Um, and bespoke tailoring is a highly personalized and traditional process where garments are crafted entirely to a customer's specifications, including measurements and style preferences. So we think about anybody's pantsuit. That's what it is.
Okay.
right? So you're talking about something that's a tailored fit, um, where the clients can dictate the material, the lining, the buttons, the stitching, all of that, if that makes sense. And that's probably why that's what he designed for her.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, it looked nice. But I'm not allowed to have a crush on her according to the black community. So, um,
What?
yeah, I'm just not allowed to have a crush on her.
What?
Uh,
Okay.
she
What?
said the N word, and so she's
I
off
said
the
the N
list.
word.
Stop! No, Mindy. Oh my God! No, you didn't just say that.
And when it's called for, it's called for. Or
Mindy, don't
But I
defend
also
it. We
use
are
other words.
live on air.
It's fine. I use the C word with Chinese people if I have to. Right?
Oh my God.
What?
I might be canceled before I even begin because of your ass.
Nah.
Oh, Jesus. Keep me. All right, let's move on to another topic, right? So I found something funny on Twitter. Um, so apparently there's this show called Love After Lockup. Um, and I might have to I might have to watch this. I don't know I don't know all of the context, right? But apparently, uh so this one comment pretty much sums it up. Pretty much sums up what I'm about to talk about. If I tell a N word, I need him to help me with bills we accumulating, and his response is he is gonna be a rapper. Bitch, I'm crashing. Bitch, I'm crashing the fuck out. That's the
Wait,
Twitter
what?
post. So I need to find out what happened. So apparently, it sounds like this show is a reality show. Um, and I guess a guy said, in response to this girl needing help with bills, right? Because he doesn't have a job, uh, and they're probably falling behind. His response is he's going to be a rapper to her needing help with bills.
Is he 13?
No,
Because I can see that being a response if you're 13.
no, that sounds like a that doesn't. Sadly, that sounds like a bum. Um, Hold on, I'm trying to find because this is trending literally right now,
Hmm.
and
At some point, I'm also going to go back and touch on your thing about grief because I came across something this week
go ahead
that.
while I look through this.
So, everybody knows that the Thunderbolts movie just came out.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Um, it's probably one of my favorite post Endgame. There are not really many good ones there anyway, but there's a good one. Um, I feel like a lot of the movies that we've gotten from Marvel since Endgame have had no depth. They're all very surface.
Mm-hmm.
This one has depth. Um, and I don't know that it'll reach that many people. There are some people who can understand, maybe not even sympathize, definitely not empathize, but I can empathize with what happens in the movie and the way that they depicted it. It's actually really neat. Um, but it does touch. A lot of it comes from what I would consider grief and comparing it to a black hole almost, like a void, and like the hole it creates for some
Mm-hmm.
people. So, I don't want to spoil but yeah, that is I think they did a great job with kind of depicting what can happen if you let somebody wallow in their grief and what can happen if somebody decides to step up and provide support for some random person they don't even know that's been allowed to wallow in grief and trauma.
Let me guess. The grieving person was the Winter Soldier.
No,
It wasn't Bucky. Hmm.
no, not at all. Bucky was the one that was kind of oblivious for the majority of it.
Hmm. Well,
Hmm.
I'll be damned. I'm still trying to decide if I'm gonna go see that movie. Um,
I would go see it again.
I'm having a problem with Marvel right now. Actually, not even a problem with Marvel because it's not their fault. I'm having a problem with society as it comes to media
Okay.
right now. And I don't like to use the race card, but it keeps fucking happening
Uh huh.
where every movie with a woman lead or a black person is called woke, and people automatically hate it.
Hmm.
Thunderbolts is about a team full of white superheroes.
Well, well, well. The lead is female in this one.
Okay, but the rest of the team is white. I mean, she's white, and the rest of the team is right.
She white too, but is the rest of the team white? No,
See what I'm saying?
they're not. They're
And
not really a team.
and this is being called the New Avengers, and I'm like,
Look,
all
look, look, look,
right,
look.
like,
There's a whole. I don't think it's actually called that, and there's a whole ass joke behind the naming convention of all of that. Thunderbolts versus the New Avengers. Like to the point where they're talking about like being sued for copyright infringement in the
how?
movie.
It's their shit.
Well, like the actual Avengers.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
It's pretty funny. So,
But yeah, that's just my conundrum right now. Like, it's like if the white woman ain't surrounded by a bunch of white men, then they have a problem with it.
well, this is depicting a bunch of. Actually, this is great. It's depicting a bunch of white people with a lot of problems. Ava's not white, I don't think. Right?
I don't know who the fuck Ava is. I don't know what led up to this
Ghost?
movie.
Ghost.
From Ant Man?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so she's in the movie. Well,
Ava's in it.
I guess they gave a token. That's great. I'm tired of being a token. Like,
No,
can,
no, no. But I mean, so look, it's literally, and some of them aren't even American. They like Russian, right? Like so, but they're supposed to be anyway. But like, it's if you're gonna say it's a bunch of white people, cool. It's a lot of broken white people on a team.
that's wonderful. They give a fuck about them.
I guess I didn't even notice race, honestly, in this. All I saw was broken people.
I wish I couldn't, but they make it such a big deal whenever like minorities get their movie that I don't know. My mentality is starting to fight back.
So one of the well, I also don't like it when they just sub a different race in because that's annoying too. But um like if it's a better character or you wanted to portray it a different way, cool, that's fine. But if you're just doing it to do it because that's what society says you're supposed to do, I don't know that I agree with that either. So apparently originally one of the characters, again I don't want to spoil, but one of the characters in it that we have not met yet until you watch this movie was supposed to be the main character, the guy who plays the main character in Beef. It was supposed to be an Asian guy.
I've never
Personally,
seen
I'm glad
Beef.
they didn't do it. Huh?
Never seen Beef.
Mm-mm. He's in another show that you probably have seen. One second.
You said it's called Beef. The movie is called Beef.
No, the show is called Beef.
Show. Oh, it was supposed to be Steven Yeun.
Yeah.
My dog. Shout out Steven Yeun. I
So
like him and
anyway,
everything.
I saw the concept art. I've seen the movie. I'm glad they didn't do it that route. It needed to be a white guy. For me, anyway.
I don't like
I
when
don't think
they
it would.
I don't like when they race wash either. Um, like I'm glad. Like as a writer, I hope to write my own and eliminate that problem. But they're still gonna like market as urban or woke or and I'm just like, society is making me sick.
They're always gonna do that. And sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. It's annoying either way. Like, I'm from the era where I was probably of the right age when the Whitney Houston version of Cinderella came out.
Is that the one with Brandy?
Yes. I wanted her dress as my prom dress. Like, I mean, it was very relevant for my age group.
I mean, nobody complained about that movie. At least not that I noticed.
I mean, there was white people in it, there was black people in it, there was Asian people in it. I mean, it was just, you had two sisters, you had a tall, skinny white girl, and you had a real big black girl
Yeah,
that
the
were
whole
sisters.
the whole
Whole
cast
thing
was
was
mismatched. Like it's
yep.
just because he
Right?
had.
Whoopi Goldberg was in it. She played the queen.
I was like, he got a black mama and a white daddy, and he Asian. Like what the. Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just want to go back to us.
None of that made sense, but it's fine.
But it was
Oh,
still a good
sorry.
movie. But it was like, I just wish we could go back to like having fun with certain things like that. Like people automatically hated Snow White, uh, just because just because she didn't fit. Now, granted, the casting choice itself, eh, but
I
like
haven't seen it, so I can't say anything yet.
I heard the acting is bad, but they already
I
had their
heard
minds made up about that movie before it even came out.
I heard good and bad things. um, but that's just um again, we heard plenty of bad things about Thunderbolts too, and I didn't mind it. I actually really liked it. We heard lots of bad things about the most recent Captain America movie, which I also didn't mind.
They're
Was
still
it the best?
mad.
No, but it
They're
wasn't bad.
they're still mad that Captain America's black, which is crazy to me. Like,
Just like they're mad that fucking Ariel is black. Okay, get over it.
no, but Sam Wilson is a canon thing.
Well,
Like
he ain't white
they always
and fuck
complain
him.
that, oh, stick to the comics. Well, in the comics, Sam Wilson becomes fucking Captain America.
That's probably not the same. That those are probably not the same people complaining.
No, see, they ran out of excuses. I think they are the same people because when they run out of excuses of, oh, this isn't comic accurate, then they just start the race hating.
I mean, there was a lot of hate when Wonder Woman was cast originally. I think she's fantastic as that role. She fits her.
Me personally, I love what's my girl name? Damn,
Linda Carter,
no, the woman who played Wonder Woman. Um,
Gal Gadot.
Thank you, Gal Gadot. Yeah, that's my girl.
Linda Carter also played Wonder Woman. That's why I
Then
asked.
what?
She's the original.
Oh, the one I haven't seen. Yeah, no.
That's
Gal.
why, like, so it's interesting because that's why they feature them. They always bring it back. Like if you go through like all the Arrowverse stuff, they bring back all the old school people.
Mm.
Like the original Barry, um,
He
they bring
played.
him back.
He played. Damn it! I know exactly who you talk about too. Uh, who was it? Did he play Jay?
Yeah, he plays Jay. He also plays his dad.
That's what it was. Yeah, he plays Jay in
Because
his.
Jay is his dad's doppelganger. So he's also another Barry from another universe, basically.
What's
Whatever.
Barry's last name? I forgot Barry's last name.
No, I don't remember.
Allen.
'Cause I'm bad. Alan. Yeah, it's been a while.
Uh,
But like, I don't. What in the comics were any of them black?
who?
Any of the characters, like so his love interest and his
No.
adoptive
So
dad and any of that.
I
Exactly.
think Iris was changed. Yeah, Iris was changed.
Yeah, Iris was changed. That means her dad was changed. That means Wally was changed. That means their kids were changed.
One of them is black though. Who was it? Hold on. think they changed it in the comics to. I could be wrong. No, Wally was white. Wally is original white.
Yeah, Wally's black in this.
Yeah, all of them. So I mean, and I didn't mind that. I didn't mind it just because, like, for one, do we really want another all white? Like, uh,
Nah, and XS and Kid Flash, I mean, they were great as mixed kids.
like I'm just like, as much things have been whitewashed, y'all can
Mm.
get over some shit. Hmm?
They did the same thing, so I believe this is also changed. In Supergirl, Jimmy Olsen, right, is supposed to be a white kid. He's black.
I mean, because there's part of me, like, as much as I hate when they change the races of certain things, uh, a lot of these series were made before black people were featured in things.
Exactly. They got it. So you got to like add in somewhere, and he becomes Sentinel or something like that.
Like, I'm sorry, we're a part of this society, and we also contribute greatly to the comic book community.
Look, all we got is Shang-Chi, okay? That's all we got. And Aquafina.
Mm, yeah, but y'all got all the kung fu movies and shit.
Yeah, but that's not superheroes.
Jackie Chan might as well be a fucking superhero.
Well, he's in the new Karate Kid movie.
Ding ding ding. Like, y'all got Jackie Chan.
I
Granted,
mean, he's a singer.
we got Chris Tucker though.
That's what he was first. We know him as a singer.
He was a singer for real.
Oh yeah.
Just, I don't know. I feel like there's.
Hey, some stereotypes are very much so a thing. And so when I say karaoke is a Chinese thing or an Asian thing as a whole, there's a reason for that.
It's hilarious that there's a karaoke scene at the beginning of Rush Hour 2.
There's
And,
also a karaoke scene in Shang-Chi.
I haven't gotten a chance to see that one yet.
What? Oh, shame. You be over here complaining about white people, and you don't see the one Asian one we got.
I mean, listen, Disney Plus is expensive, okay? Can't help it. They stopped coming out with things on DVD. Well, no, it's probably out on DVD.
That's not
but
true.
That
You
isn't
could
true.
you could probably go to the library and rent it. I'm just saying.
That's true.
You have friends that are fine with taking from the internet.
Don't you say that. No. For anybody listening, I do not condone pirating.
But or you can visit somebody that has Disney Plus.
That requires me to go over to somebody's house. Ugh. Gross. Being away from my home that I pay a mortgage on. Gross.
That's when I see you.
That is when you see me, but that's for training.
It's true.
Uh,
And food.
and food. So, but yeah, let's see what else we got here. That was so. But yeah, how would you feel about that though? While regarding like, dude, just like not like, let's say you go to your partner for help. They're not making any money, and they're like, "I'm gonna be a rapper to pay our bills." That's their immediate solution. Not their
I think there are
down.
more. I
Not
mean, I think there are more problems there than just that, but that are probably a larger, like a bigger priority. But I'd be like, okay, so here are your deadlines. I'm fine with you making money that way. Here are your deadlines, and here are your portion of the bills. If these things don't happen, then these consequences occur. Ta-da!
See, that's that Asian in you. You over here giving deadlines and plans and shit. that's,
I mean,
that's that Chinese one right there. I mean, at least you give them a fair shake.
it's not fair for me to be like, you can't do that. Who am I to say that? Cool, you got it in you. You got it. This is the deadline.
Ain't gonna be enough time.
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Here's your timeline. Hmm.
Your bill's gonna be due in a couple of weeks, and you ain't gonna become a high profile rapper in that time. Let's go ahead and get that out the way now.
Exactly.
I just, I don't know. I'm kind of in a sticky situation myself where, like, I'm unemployed, but I am looking for work at the same time. But I'm a podcaster, so like, at the, like, you know what I mean? But like, I'm not banking on this making me any money anytime soon. Like,
Yeah. I gave streaming a try just to see, but I don't know that I can do it. I don't see enough streamers who aren't becoming some type of personified concept that that appeals to people, that dictates what they do, what they say, and how they act. And I don't want to do that.
that's fair. I mean, I'm not a hot woman, so I don't know how far I'm actually gonna get with this podcasting thing. I'm not a hot woman, and I'm also not a dude that likes to, like, I'm not Joe Rogan. I like to talk sports. Like, I'm waiting for football season to come back around so I can, throw my sports opinion all around. And basketball season is going on too. I could be doing that. Like, that, I really got into this really to do the sports journalism thing, but I also want to talk like some resiliency tips and going through the grief journey and whatnot. Like, I want to do all that. I just don't know how far I'll get with it. You know what I mean? But those are the doubts talking. I still need to try it to see if it'll work.
Just like the kid that wants to rap to pay his bills. Yeah, you give it a go.
Yeah, but to want to rap to pay your. She's telling you she needs help now. Like, if my wife walks through that door and rightly says, we got bills to pay, I need
Mhm.
you to find a job soon. I'm
Mhm.
not going to be like, baby, I'm doing podcasting. I'm not looking for other work. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not going to be
And,
my
and
answer.
I agree with that. However, what I would probably say is that's fine and that is your prerogative. These are the bills that are due at this time. If you can get said thing to pay for these bills, I'm fine with that. I don't care how you pay for it.
Yeah. Like, if it was response was, okay, I'll go out and find a different job. I'll go out and find a job. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to try to become a rapper on the side. Cool.
Yeah.
Nothing else to talk about. Bet. It's all right to have a side dream. And
Yeah.
if that dream pans out and you make all that money, go ahead and quit your job. But your
But
immediate
sometimes,
response should not be.
but sometimes people potentially don't have what we would call a realistic view of life. And so you just give them tangible things that they have to adhere to, and they can be as quote unquote unrealistic as they would like to be. Uh,
So, see, you're applying, like, logic
sure.
to this situation that
Very
should.
illogical.
You're applying logic to this situation that needs logic, and that man ain't thinking like that.
That's okay because this is the type of thing that causes them to think that way.
Like, nobody in this
That's the only way
situation
to do
is
it.
thinking that way.
Well, that's the whole thing is you have to do that. Otherwise, they don't get to see it, right? If you just flat out say that's not acceptable, they're just going to immediately do the exact same thing you just did to them, which is completely push away what you've said.
Yeah, but you also don't want to leave it like, okay, let's talk about the black community, for example. You don't want to leave it that open ended because you didn't even say legitimate job. You just said pay these bills.
Nope.
So guess what?
Yep.
That
That's
gives him
okay.
the option to go fuck up and be a drug dealer.
I'm also okay with that.
No,
Just don't
because
get caught.
it's called love after lockup. He clearly isn't good at not getting caught.
Well, that is also on him to learn. That is not my job.
Like, he's
I'm just
clearly already been
saying.
locked up.
Some people some people have to learn the hard way and there's nothing you can do about it.
Fucking
That is their
moron.
prerogative.
Fucking moron. Just.
I know if somebody came at me at a younger age preaching about some responsibility and threw something completely unrealistic at them, but I believed in it, and they completely shut it down and said realistic things only, I would just completely dismiss what they said. I know. I'm one of those people that has to learn the hard way.
Don't get me
So,
wrong. He's
so you
25, but
so you lead them. You lead them
you're
to
asking for the
water.
you're asking the blind to lead the blind here. I don't think, based on some of these Twitter comments, I don't know if either of these people make good decisions.
Well, and that's why they're together.
Like, I
I'm just
just,
saying. I mean, you playing at the same. You notice the people that you're around are playing at the same level, bro.
and that's the
When you
problem. Like,
level up, when you level up, you'll be with a different group of people,
it's
maybe.
just, it's like, this. And see, you talk about the Asian community and how there's so much pressure for y'all to perform, and at least in your household, there was pressure to be perfect.
I mean, it was. I just saw evidence of that with my niece, and it kills me.
Yeah. So like, but in the black community, I don't know. I don't want to say we have the opposite problem, because like we get nagged by our mom. At least if she cares. My mom nagged the hell out of me, but
Hmm.
not to be perfect, but to literally just do my best and get more out of this world than she did. That was what she wanted. Not all black households are like that. Some of these
I mean,
motherfuckers didn't have active parents.
sure.
And due to that, they don't know how to be somebody. And when I say somebody, you don't have to have a flashy car. You just have to be decent. Like
And
to
you know
be
what?
somebody, you just literally have to be decent.
That's okay, because they'll learn or they won't.
I was about to say,
That's
will they?
very, very simple. It's
Will
very
they?
simple. If you don't, you don't, and if you do, then you do, and that's okay. I didn't used to be as flexible as that, or as allowing for non-perfectly correct things to exist. But that is the way it kind of has to happen.
I mean, eventually, these are the options in life. Like, I'm still, I learned that myself at, 25. Like, I spent my early 20s just kind of dicking around. Um, but I was doing all right. You know what I mean? I had a good, steady job, did what I wanted, was a bachelor, cool. Um, and I wasn't getting in no trouble. But at 24, when I had to move back in with my parents, I discovered that I wanted more. And, that's when I joined the army, yada, yada, yada. And I was just like trying to find a way to get more. Like there had to be more.
It's tough too. So let's talk about being female and potentially being of a different culture, where you're basically taught that your only way up in life and the only way for you to be financially stable is to be codependent. Your job is to marry a catch. Your job is to marry what will make you financially stable.
Mm.
And you do whatever to make that happen.
When you say whatever,
Hmm. Yeah, it means lie until after you're married.
lie. Lie about what specifically?
Everything, your personality, who you are, what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do, all of it. Your job is entrapment, essentially.
I knew it.
And the it is literally gold digging, but and basically the better the catch that you have, the better received you'll be, because that's now your value.
This is sounding like Mulan all over again.
How was that Mulan though? I
That's,
mean, I guess of the matchmaking part. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that was the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, the matchmaking part kind of, but they don't ever talk about like how that's valued and how that's judged. What's a good match? They don't define that.
No, they were just telling her she needed to be perfect. Like she had to wear all this makeup, she had to dress like this, she had to walk like
Uh-huh.
this. She
Yep.
couldn't
Not a
She,
proper, faithful wife, blah, 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 blah. She had
yeah,
to write all that shit on her arm. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
all that whatnot, and like, yeah,
Sure.
that's a lot of pressure. I will say that that's a lot of pressure.
I'm not married still. So, and I'm the oldest. Firstborns carry a lot of weight.
Yeah, I know that feeling. We're
Well, it's
literally the
worse.
experiment.
Well, it's worse in our culture. They expect more from us because we're the oldest.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you say that in your culture, but that's how I grew up too. Like, not only that, I got a younger brother 2 years later, and most of my life I was stuck with him, right? So, like, if he got in trouble,
Uh,
I got in trouble. And
I, I mean, I have two siblings. They're both younger, so
my little sister, that was more so his end because they were like, granted, it's an 8 year age gap between me and my baby sister. It's a 6 year age gap between him and her. Um, so I was kind of like moved out by the time she got older. So I really didn't. But she was too involved in like school and stuff. So I really feel like she faced a lot more pressure than me, just because of like how much they invested in her.
she's also a girl, and girls are treated differently than boys, no
Yeah,
matter what house you
she
come
was
from.
spoiled as hell. I tell her all the time, you was spoiled. They put you in dance class and all this other shit.
Well, I think that depends on. So that this is also something that's really interesting. Obviously, so there was a 4 year gap between me and my sister, and then a 6 year gap between me and my brother. They were closer because they were closer together. And it's funny because my brother envies what I got, and I envy what he got because we were raised totally differently. He had no parents, kind of. Like,
Oh,
he just was allowed to do whatever he wanted. He was a boy. That's all I wanted. And meanwhile, I had helicopter parents, and he just wanted parents that would show up for
mm,
something. And I wanted my parents to not be there. So, it's one of those grass is greener on the other side kind of situations.
yeah. And like, so when we're talking about like, so we go back to the matchmaking piece of it, right? Like, is was there any pressure for him to like find the perfect wife or anything like that?
There's a lot of pressure for all of us to find appropriate Chinese matches. I straight up was told in high school, like not even by my parents, but like by a family friend, like the lady who cut my hair, and she had kids that went to Chinese school with us. They owned a restaurant and yada yada. But she pulled me aside. She goes, your parents would like you to find a nice Chinese boy, and they will settle for someone who is white. But don't you dare bring a black boy home. I was already dating a black kid. They knew full well that was happening, and that's what I was told.
You probably aren't looking at me, but I am shaking my head. Audience, I am shaking my head because that I don't know. I've had a lot of interracial relationships, and it was even weirder for me when I moved down to the south. Cause like up north, I really didn't have that problem, or at least none of the parents would like tell their kids straight up, "You're not allowed to date a black kid." I'm pretty. I don't know. I don't know. Cause like I didn't have that issue
I mean, I was
whenever,
faced with that.
but when I got down south, a girl straight up looked at me and was like, "Uh, my parents would kill me if I dated a black boy," or even in college, right? I had a grown ass woman tell me to my face. She's like 30. Now, granted, I wasn't attracted to her, but somehow the conversation came up um, that my family wouldn't allow me to date a black guy. And I'm like, you're, excuse me. I
All
was
right.
like, you're 30. Do you hear yourself?
So, okay. There are a lot of people who are not ready to part ways with the way that their parents think because that's also the way that they think. And unfortunately for my parents, I was never that way. They would have loved if I had been programmable that way, but unfortunately, like I tell Brian all the time, I am not easily programmable. Just not a thing.
Well, I congratulate you on
Um,
not being programmable.
wait, say again? What?
I said, I applaud you for not being programmable.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great for fitting into society. It's not great for being liked, but it is what it is. So
Like,
can't do anything about it.
audience, tell me what y'all think. Just tell me what y'all think. Like, should you always abide your parents' ways, even into your 30s, when it comes to relationships, or should you actually like chase your heart?
There is no should there, in my opinion. That's applying pressure where you don't need to add more.
That's fair. Like, why? Yeah, you're right. Because it should always be your choice on who you decide to love.
Correct. So until that pressure becomes um, strong enough or heavy enough, why would they deviate? So I dated a guy, a white guy, post college. I was in my 20s, and we dated for a little bit, a couple of weeks probably even, but we've been dating for a couple of weeks. And I went to dinner at his parents' house, and his little nephew was over who loved me, little toddler, and I could tell that his parents were completely weirded out the entire time. Like, he was real country. Actually, he's the one that got me into country music, but he was real country. And they were polite, but they were, I mean, it was
Weird.
just, it could be tangibly felt that they were completely weirded out. And he broke up with me probably the next day or so. And he's like, I'm just not ready to part ways with the way that my parents think, and they're not comfortable with you not being white.
At least he was
Okay.
honest.
Yeah. Okay. Nothing I can do about that. Cool.
It's still, that's nuts to me though to break up. I wish I
It
wouldn't break up
is.
with
It
somebody just because
is.
my mama didn't. Well, now granted, if my mom doesn't like you for like a non-racial reason, then we have something to talk about. You and my mom's got to get along. But I'm not gonna break up with you because of your race.
Like,
And I think
it's,
that's why my mom never tried, because she knew, like, coming where we came from, like, we didn't think that way.
well, it's one of those things where I, w- I have been pushing against this concept my entire life for so long that it became reflexive to push back. Like, my opposition reflex was so strong with my parents. So instead of trying to like bridge the gap, I just tried to blow it up into the Grand Canyon or bigger because they were just flat out wrong. And it doesn't matter if they're actually wrong or not. That's not going to fix the problem.
I mean, this is a very subjective topic. It's not really objective. Like, it's literally based on the point of view of whoever, right? In your
Uh,
parents' case,
they, I would say that the objective correct here is that race should not matter,
yes, objectively, race should not matter. Absolutely.
and that's
Uh,
what I mean.
but we're never gonna be able to convince the ones that believe it does matter. Never gonna be able to convince them otherwise.
Well, that's not fair. You're closing them off to being able to make that change, and that's not fair.
Well,
That's
I've very
and that,
rarely seen someone make that change. You know what I mean?
but this is what I'm talking about. Like, my parents are fine with Carlo now, and he's not Chinese. He's Filipino, so he's still Asian. My parents are also fine with Brian.
Oh, okay, well,
I
yeah.
mean, it does help that he's paler than me, but whatever.
I mean, but that's the thing. Like, when you're an adult, what are they really gonna do about it? Like, if they're not
They
supporting
can
you, fine.
disown you.
And
They
that
can
does
disown you.
what when they're not financially supporting you?
So you were coming from a culture where family is supposed to be the most important thing, and it's supposed to be die-hard loyalty, which I also don't do. If you're fucking wrong, I'm gonna tell you. Sorry. I'm not just gonna back you because you're my boy. Like, I'm gonna tell you you're wrong. I might be more polite nowadays and not throw you under the bus in public and pull you aside and be like, yo, you're probably not in the right here. And explain, but I will still tell you and not support you, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not gonna back you in public just because you're my boy. It's not a thing.
Yeah, but like, I'm talking about the power of disowning someone.
Family is very, very, like, just like you said, if your mom has a problem with somebody that she says is not race based. So let's say my parents said it wasn't race based, right? They flat out just say it's not because of their race, but it is because of how dark they are, and that could be an Asian. right? And it could be other things that they also lump in. You can bridge that gap. They're not right, but you can help bridge that gap. My problem was I spent so much time pushing against that I didn't try to bridge the gap.
What does bridging that gap even look like?
Talking about the positives, not trying to condemn them for being wrong, basically. That's basically all I wanted to do. Um, there are
So
things
being
that you
like, there's
can
such a
do.
nice guy or
Nope,
gals.
nope, nope. You need to know what appeals to your parents. I know what appeals to my parents. Brian is quiet. He's a good kid. He's frugal. He had straight A's, pretty much, probably. He loves school, has a degree, has a great job, works in computers, is an engineer. All of these things are going to be appealing to my parents. That's where you go with it.
Okay. Okay. I can see that. So you get past the race based on the other qualities that they want.
And eventually they see past it, yes. But I never gave them that chance because I just wanted to condemn them for their racism.
It still doesn't answer, like, granted, yeah, I know how important family is to not even just some cultures,
Well,
but
how
to
does it
some
impact
people.
you? It's very simple. What happens when you have to explain to your child why their grandparents aren't in their lives?
Sure, your grandparents are dicks.
Yeah, but that's not going to go over well because now the kid's going to want to find out for themselves. It was
Excuse me.
always something that I worried about myself because I think I always knew that my kids were not going to be pure Asian. It's just not my thing. Not really attracted to them. Sorry. Um, and I always worried about that. My parents flat out say that you having a mixed race child is abusive in the fact that you had them in the first place.
The
You are condemning them to a bad life by being mixed.
They know they live in America, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. And so that's what they would always say is look at that poor kid. Like we had one kid, I do feel bad for her and her parents. We had one kid who was adorable. She was mixed. Her mom was Chinese, her dad was black, and she was in kindergarten at our Chinese school. And everybody was super. This is also a Chinese thing. They're very two-faced. Everybody was super duper nice to everybody when they were in direct contact with them.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole time, everybody talking about you. Like all the comedian stuff about the ladies doing your nails and stuff like that, talking shit about you right to your face in a different language is absolutely true.
Oh, I 100% believe it. If I could speak another language, that's what I'd be doing.
Until you get caught.
Till I get caught.
Yep, till you get caught.
That's why I want to learn to speak Swahili, because, first of all, I have yet to meet a person. I've met, like, Nigerian black people and Ethiopian black people. I have yet to meet one Swahili. So, guess what? If I learn Swahili, I can talk shit about people
So
in
it's
Swahili.
it's funny. Oh God, my brain fart. What is the language in South Africa?
I don't fucking know. I think it's a mix because there are different cultures in South
It's
Africa.
Afrikaans. It's Afrikaans. That's what it's called. So Afrikaans is like the most popular one, right? If you're from South Africa, you probably speak Afrikaans. And I've been weirdly around a lot of South African white people who are also very racist. And
Don't even get me started.
it's
Anyways,
it's funny because Charlize Theron, I think, is her family is from South Africa because she speaks Afrikaans. And she said she and her mom were at an airport and some guy was doing something and they were talking shit about him. And then he turned around and started talking to them in Afrikaans and basically told them to go fuck themselves because he could understand it.
ha!
And this happens to me all the time at Asian restaurants. I don't go out of my way to set people up. I just let them think what they're going to think, right? There are some people who set people up, but I don't do that. I just go in, I talk to the people that I'm with in English and whatever. They come to the table. Usually in the beginning, I will just order in English. The moment I hear you talk shit in Chinese about us, I'm gonna keep listening. And then when you come back again, I'm gonna speak in entirely Mandarin.
That's hilarious.
I think it's funny.
That's
But
fucking
usually
hilarious.
usually what ends up happening is a lot of shock. Like their brains can't even process the fact that they haven't gotten English. They're like, "What did you just say? I didn't understand you." And I'll say it again in Chinese. And then they're like flabbergasted that I speak fluent Chinese. And they're like, "You speak Chinese?" In Chinese. And I'm like, "Yeah."
Like, oh my god, you're one of the smart ones. Yeah, bitch.
Well, it's not the smart thing. It's that they thought they could get away with talking shit. Now, here's the thing. The reason why I'm very familiar with that. Unfortunately, my parents work that way too. My siblings do less of that now, but my sister was a part of that, I think, for a little while when she was younger. And when I for my birthday, I'd be allowed to bring friends to dinner, right? We'd go out to dinner and I'd be allowed to invite friends. And the whole time, they would talk shit about my friends in Chinese. And I'd ask them, "Hey, don't do that. That's not appropriate. That's just not cool." And they just kept doing it. So eventually what I did was I stared dead at them and I translated everything that they were saying into English.
Mm,
They stopped.
awkward.
This is what I'm saying about, you know, sometimes you just have to do the thing that gets you the outcome that you want.
I mean, that's where I stand. You know what I mean? I don't have many of these problems when it comes to my parents. I mean, I get a different problem when it comes to society because literally, I feel like if I'm not in uniform, society doesn't really think of me as shit.
I mean,
Like,
I prefer to go unnoticed because unfortunately I am somebody that is very easily remembered and stands out.
well, so I don't like to go everywhere in uniform, but I'm saying I I feel like I'm stereotyped. Like I'm dressed down when I'm not in uniform. You know, like society has a
Hmm.
problem. Like, oh, when I'm in uniform, they'll thank me for my service. They'll do all this, that, and the third. But at the same time, these same people will vote against me. Like
Sure.
they'll elect Trump in office. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you'll thank me for my service to my face and act all buddy buddy, but you'll put Trump in office.
Well, they might believe both things are good. Like they don't think that those are opposite things. That's the problem.
Yeah, and I mean, and I'm not saying that he's for the military or anything like that. And I'm not speaking on a military perspective. I'm thinking of me as a person, right? Like when they see me in uniform, they don't think of me as a black guy. I'm just a service member.
Sure.
But when I'm just the black guy, like where do we go? Like why am I different?
I think that's not very different than somebody who's in and not and in out of uniform that's a cop. You're probably bound to give somebody who is in a uniform like that, a cop or someone who's in the military, a different form of respect than the average person, which is also a problem. Why can't that be universal?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why we can't just
And
respect
I
each
think it's
other.
fear. I think it's fear.
It is fear. It's fear of their own insecurities, of what they lack.
Oh
You
no,
know
I
what I
meant
mean?
like the fear of treating you improperly that keeps them from treating you like everybody else is what I'm saying.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
you could just not say anything to me. You could literally just do the exact same thing you'd do if I was in civilian clothes. Now, don't
Well,
get me
I
wrong.
know
There's a
that.
lot of well mannered people, especially in the South, right? In the South, people say hi to people all the time. It's nothing. It's nothing. Um, but
Like, how many people switch automatically to yes sirs and no sirs when they're dealing with a cop versus the average person?
I don't. Granted, it's just a part of my vocabulary at this point. Like everybody
I don't
gets
use
a.
it. I don't even use it with cops.
I haven't been pulled over in quite a while, so I don't. I don't really know.
I just talk to them like a person because that's what they are.
I mean, yeah, I treat them like a like. I think the last time I got pulled over, I was just like, it was so early in the morning. When the hell is the last time I got pulled over?
Last time I got pulled over
I,
was by a trooper.
I can't remember. Like I have so few. I try not to get pulled over because I'm just trying not to raise my damn insurance any higher. So I don't remember
Well,
the last time I got pulled over.
you you kind of destroy that threshold when your first ticket is for doing 155
Oh yeah,
when
they
you're
was like,
18.
yeah, they're like, well, automatically, you already have a noose around your neck at 19 with the insurance companies.
Actually, I it didn't impact me at all.
What the fuck?
So not only was I doing 155, I also didn't have my license with me because I was late for a midterm, and I just didn't bring my backpack because I was taking a test. So my license was in my backpack.
And you said it didn't
A troop.
impact you at all.
Hmm. No, so a trooper pulled me over. He was super duper nice. I'm very thankful that I got that guy. Um, and he's like, I need your license and your registration. I'm like, okay. And I turn around, I'm like, oh my God, I don't have my backpack. I don't have my license. He's like, okay, do you have like an insurance card? And I'm like, that should be in the glove compartment somewhere. He's like, you have your registration? I'm like, I don't know what that is. What is that? He's like, it's a little piece of paper, usually in your glove compartment as well. So I open my glove compartment and like the life story of this car is in there, of course. And he's like, just pull that whole stack out. Let's go through it. And he went through it with me. And we pulled out, the insurance card. And he's like, this is
Man,
your registration.
your
Mm-hmm.
story's making me kind of mad. I'm gonna be honest. You ain't.
I'm not. I am very, very. I'm very, very thankful that I got him because I'm sure not everybody. It wouldn't have gone that way with
You
everybody,
was
right?
doing a
And when he
hundred and a
came,
55, ain't got your license on. You can't find your insurance or registration.
so he's like, I mean, even when he walked up, he was like sauntering over. Okay, like he's like, whoa, where are you going so fast? I'm like, I'm late for a midterm. And I think he could tell, like, that I was really young. And he's like, okay, all right, all right. Do you know how fast you were going? I was like, I'm going to be honest, I don't. He's like, I clocked you at 100. And he's like, look, it sounds like this is the first time you've been pulled over. I'm like, it is. And he's like, I would normally let you off, but I can't with you doing 100. So, we got all that. He took it back and he's like, all right, look, I have to write you two separate tickets because one is for you not having your license and one is for you speeding. He's like, I know it's your first time. He's like, look, signing this does not mean that you're guilty of it. It just means that I've talked to you about it. You acknowledge that you're getting this thing, that whatever, right? So I sign and do whatever. He's like, look, this is your first time. I strongly suggest that you go to court. Okay? He's like, really, go to court. I'm like, okay. I thanked him for his help and all that fun stuff. Got to class, did whatever. In Maryland, and this is different in every state, which I found out unfortunately later, but in Maryland, you don't get like this weird preliminary everybody go like cattle to a pen to pay something and you don't actually get a real trial. You have to request a real trial. When you get your like summons in the mail, it's for a real trial. They don't have like an interim.
Mm.
So when you go, if your cop doesn't show up, they throw the case out. So usually they schedule like all of them for one cop in one go, right? So the cop just stays up there and a bunch of people walk up. Um, and it's not like that in Atlanta. Like it's not like that in Georgia. It's not like that in Missouri either. So yeah, he didn't show. So the whole thing got thrown out. That's why it didn't impact me.
Okay, well that's fair enough. I think that's kind of similar to how we do it. I don't know, cause the last major ticket I got was during COVID, but the problem was is that court had ceased during COVID. So like,
Yeah.
I got the ticket, never went. I didn't go to court for it for 2 years because like I remember I got the summons in the mail and I had to tell my boss like, hey, I I gotta go to court this date, and she was like, what did you do? And I was like, it's for a ticket that was literally written in 2020. It's 2022 now.
Well, the court's open. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. So she was like, all right, well, yeah, go ahead and you know take care of that, blah blah blah. And like it was for apparently I was driving under suspension. Uh, I
Oh.
didn't know that, but it was also
What
for
is it with you guys driving under suspension and
he
not
pulled me over
knowing?
for speeding. But so the problem is the state that I live in. I'm not saying it on purpose. The
Uh
state that I
huh.
live in, when your insurance lapses, your license gets suspended
Uh huh.
if you don't re up your
Yeah.
insurance for a while. So I was having some money problems at one point, and my insurance ended up lapsing, but I didn't. But when I turned it back on, like they don't automatically unsuspend your license.
What the?
So I, when the cop pulled me over, I had my insurance, I had my license on, but he was like, "Your license is suspended." So I got two tickets that day, my damn self. One for a suspended license and one for speeding.
Can they can they tell you why it's suspended? Like, could he see it?
No.
Mm.
And that was why we were both confused because I was in uniform and I was on my way to drill, and
Oh, okay.
he was like, well, all right, look, uh, I'm gonna write you this ticket, and then courts aren't going on right now, so just wait for something in the mail. Uh, and then I didn't get it for like 2 years later. Funny thing is, he pulled over a buddy of mine from drill that same day for speeding too. We were both late uh, going down that damn highway. But yeah,
No, look,
so
let me. Have you ever had? What's the most petty situation you've ever had with getting pulled over?
oh, okay. See, listen. This happened when I was at see. This is part of that. This is part of that in a uniform, out of uniform kind of thing. Except I wasn't in the military at this time, but now I'm seeing it right because a lot of times I'll keep my patrol cap on the dash, like so it's always seen. Um, but so when I was what was I 18? Yeah, I was 18 years old, right? And I just got done hanging out with Travis and Daniel like a couple days prior. We heard some
Mm-hmm,
shots be fired off in the air, and like
mm-hmm.
I always rag on Travis because like when we heard the shots, me and
Right.
Daniel instinctively got down on the ground. We didn't know where they came from. You know, we live in the hood. We got down on the ground. Travis stayed standing up. We yanked his ass down like you stupid motherfucker. But 2 days later, right? So 2 days later, I'm riding with my homeboy Todd and his little brother, and we were coming back for some nefarious activity. We were coming back around the corner to my house, and my parents were gone
Mm-hmm.
for the weekend. I still lived with them because I was in community college at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And we were coming back around this corner, and like there was a checkpoint set up. So there's some nefarious things going on in the back seat. Tell them to put it away. You know what I'm saying? Like coming around the corner, there's cops, there's all this whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Get rid of that shit. And so I pull up to the checkpoint, and I'm acting cool. Uh, I pull up to the checkpoint. I roll the window down. You know, we're me, my homeboy Todd, and his little brother. We're all being very compliant. And the cops like, "Where are you boys coming from?" It's from getting something to eat. And I'll never forget this. And he was like, "Okay, okay, where are you heading?" "Oh, I'm heading to my house. We're all going to my house. I live right around the corner." And he was like, "Okay." And for some reason, he just decided to like tilt his head in my window and is like, "Have you been drinking?" I said, "Excuse me?" I had not been drinking. I was sober as a judge. I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then, like, he looked over at my homeboy in the passenger seat, my homeboy Todd. He said, "Sir, are you high?" I was like, "What?" I'm looking at Todd. We looking at each other. We're like, "No, we." so, what are you talking about, sir? And my homegirl Bridget was following us too. So like, she he was like, I need y'all to pull over to the side right there. And I said, what? So I pull over, and he's like, can y'all step out of the car? Can I search this vehicle? And like I said, there was nefarious things in the back seat, but I told him yes anyway.
Mm.
Uh, Cause I told my homeboy Todd, little brother, I said, stash it, dude, do something. Cause I was like, cause we're thinking like, what is this cop on? Like, I'm not drunk, he's not high. What is going on? So he we pull over, we get out the car, they start searching us. My homegirl Bridget, she was like, I'm following them, what's the problem? And she refused to get her out her shit, which I didn't know was an option. So like, I said, I'm sitting here looking at my boy Todd while they over here searching my car and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? And they didn't find anything, and he let us go. But like, I don't know if I was being stereotyped or what. My homeboy Todd White, him and his little brother White. I'm I'm driving the car. I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what his deal was with that situation. Nothing bad happened to us. We got back to my crib, but the whole situation just struck me as odd because we're just three. I'm 18. My homeboy Todd, I think, is 20, and his little brother's like 16. Like,
Well, if there are nefarious things going on in the back seat, could they have been evident
no,
in some shape or form? Okay.
no, they weren't evident at all. Uh,
Okay.
and
I'm
that's
just
why.
saying that sometimes he will be saying that it's not evident, and I can tell. So,
I mean, if it was, I would have went to jail.
well, just because it's evident doesn't mean that they find anything.
Yeah, there was no like at that point we hadn't gotten the nefarious activity started. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like we just
All right, all right, all right.
we
So
hadn't
maybe he
gotten
just
anything started. So I was just like, what is this? And him like
maybe he just sensed the guilt. I don't know.
I don't know. I thought I was acting normal, but the situation struck me as strange, and like my homegirl Bridget was like, "You stupid! Why would you tell him that he could search your car with what you had in the back seat?" And I was like,
I didn't know I could say no.
I didn't know I could say no. like
I actually don't know what happens if you say no.
they apparently don't search your car. She said no when nothing
Yeah,
happened
but
to her.
can they detain you
Uh, not if
for
there
it?
isn't anything. Not if there isn't anything apparent.
I don't know. I just cooperate.
Like, and that's what I try to do. I try to cooperate, but at the same time, like I said, nefariousness in the back seat. So like, my brain was like,
Bro,
I was just like that whole time. I was like, and then
I
I asked this little
okay.
brother real quick. I asked this little brother right before, right when we pulled off, because like my heart was beating the whole time they were searching me and they searched my car and they
Uh-huh.
said they ain't find shit. I was like, oh my god. So like, when I pulled off, I said, I looked in the back seat. I said, hey, where did you stash it? He was like, oh, uh, this Bojangles box under your car seat. I was like, oh, thank God. I was like, yo. I was like, I'm never cleaning my car again. Like,
That's funny. Yeah, no, I don't know. I guess there are good and bad things for being a kid that had to sneak in and out of places and steal things and whatever else. So, with all of those things, you learn how to control a lot of you when you're in tough situations like that, right? So, your heart isn't beating fast because you've taught it not to do that. Lots of stuff like that. So, at one point, I got into an accident, like a pileup accident,
mm-hmm.
when I was in Atlanta, and my car was totaled and had to be towed off. Well, it wasn't complete. It should have been totaled, but nonetheless, it wasn't drivable and it had to be towed. And they're like, "Hey, where are you headed?" And the cops put me in their car and took me wherever I needed to go. I absolutely had meth on me. I had drugs on me.
Mm.
Sitting in the cop car. It was in the front seat of my car. So I took it all with me. It was in my backpack. Mm.
I mean,
And it's just kind of one of those things where you just don't. You know that that's a risk, and you know that it's a problem, and you also know that you can absolutely make it not a problem by masking it, by not
yeah.
thinking it's a problem.
I mean, it gets to that point where you're up to nefarious deeds where you gotta like learn to sink or swim.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's your ass. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah. And well, so the reason I brought up the petty thing is because I was driving in Virginia where you don't ever want to be pulled over. And I was using my headset. This is like back in the day when you still use like a 3.5 millimeter jack and stuff.
yeah.
And and I was on a headset talking on the phone while I was driving so that I was hands free, motherfuckers. Anyway, I had both of my um like ear things in wired because obviously it wasn't sealing in your ear. I could still hear everything and be perfectly fine. And I had a cop that was like following me and, in my opinion, probably pacing me. Eventually, he pulled up next to me and had his head craned around all up in my shit, like looking in my window. And eventually, he pulled me over. And he's like, "Look, I've been trying to pace you for like 10 miles. And there's a reason why I don't drive a consistent speed, so they can't do that." So, anyway, he's like, "I've been trying to pace you for like 10 miles and I couldn't get you, but I know you were speeding. So, I'm going to give you a ticket because you have both of your headphones in." That's what he was looking for.
The fuck?
He was trying to find some way to pull me over and give me a ticket.
The man was trying to meet a quota.
I was like, what is happening right now? He was really upset. um,
Following somebody
but
for 10 miles is nuts, though. Like, 10 miles?
I mean, I don't know. So anyway, that one was weird. And then I also had one where this is back when Pokemon Go got real big. And people didn't realize it, but Atlanta was a huge hub for it. We had a huge community, and we were out there every night until the sun came up. And then people rolled to work and came back. It was crazy. Um, but we absolutely did a lot of trespassing, and we absolutely drove in parking lots in weird places at weird times because that's where gyms are and Pokestops are. I mean, what do you want us to do?
This is
And
why. Go ahead.
but you don't have to like. It's not like you have to get out to do those things. Sometimes, I mean, you just do them from your car, right? So like, I had been going from like spot to spot with a couple of guys that I didn't know. I can't tell you how many times when I was playing Pokemon Go, I just met up with random strangers and traveled around walking with them or doing whatever with them in back alleys that were really, really dark. But nobody ever knows. I mean, and you're a bunch of nerds, so whatever. Probably dangerous, but I was fine. So we like rolled up to a complex and we like as we're rolling up to hit the Pokestop, like in cars, because I was in a car, he was in a car. Like, it was one of those things where I think he was following me, but like we drove by a cop that was coming out the other way, and he's like, "Where the fuck are these kids going? It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Why are you coming back into this business area where nobody is right now?" Right? Look sketch. And I mean, I don't look away. I just acknowledge the cop, like I nod at them and keep it moving. But I had a couple of white boys with me that probably don't do that. They probably act nervous. So sure enough, we get there, we do whatever, we turn around and we leave, and the cops are now following us. And like we get up to like a light, and as the light turns green, the cops behind us pull him over. The boys over. I was by myself. And I like slowly accelerate to see if they're like looking to pull me over too, but they're not. So I just pull into where we were headed. I'm like, "Look, I got a gym to take. I'll check in with y'all after I do this."
That's crazy.
And because I can't do anything about it anyway, and I'm in front of them. So I pull into this parking lot and I do see a cop following me, but nobody is like turned on lights or anything. So I pull in and I park and I go do a thing. I guess I'm pretty quick because he doesn't catch me. So when I come back out from the courtyard where I was going to like deal with the gym and everything, like the boys are now still pulled over on the side of the road, but there's now a cop pulled into the parking lot where where I was looking for somebody. And I know he's looking for me, so like when he's out there standing there and I walk up, I'm like, "Hey, are you guys looking for me?" And he's like, "Yeah, are you with those guys over there?" Like I have no problems, like I'm not stupid. It's obvious he's here for me. I'm not going to like pretend. And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "What are you guys doing?" I'm like, "We're playing Pokemon Go." And he's like, "What?" Like, "Yeah, we're playing Pokemon Go." And so here's my problem is I really wish they had gone and explained how that game worked to cops. Because you got people who blame nefarious things on the game. Like when they're like, "Oh, I'm looking in this person's car for a Pokemon." Nah, bro, that's not how that works. Right? Like so like I don't have a problem explaining that to people. And so what ended up happening is they let the boys go and the boys took off. And the other cop drove over to meet this guy and I was like, "Look, I'll just show you guys what's going on, and there are definitely situations for people to blaming this game for something that they should not be doing, so I can kind of show you what it looks like so you have a better idea of what's going on." And that's literally what happened is those boys got pulled over, panicked and took off like after they were let go, because he called back over and he's like, "Yeah, she says that they were just playing a video game, that like, they have to like, there's like landmarks and stuff." And so he let them go. They drove back over. I busted my game out and I'm like, "This is how it works." So now you know if somebody's being shady or if they're just kids playing a game.
Like,
Is what it is.
yeah, you could have just told them you were playing a game. It sounds silly, but sometimes if you just tell them the truth, you'll be just fine if you aren't doing anything really bad.
Sometimes you have to explain it to them. I don't mind explaining it because that then gives them like more information about when stuff like that gets called in.
Yeah.
I had a cop that literally chastised me and told me I needed to rethink my life and what I was doing. So I guess I don't know, I guess in most places if you're in a park, like parks are closed at sundown, right?
Yeah, most places, yeah.
Yeah, so like in Georgia, it was like by Norcross and stuff like that. Like I was pulled in a parking lot, parked so that I could again take a gym. and and I had a cop pull up in the park and put a freaking floodlight on me. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, "I'm not done battling the gym, so I'm gonna keep tapping on my phone while you floodlight me." Also, meth in my front seat. Because at that time I was using, so it was just there in my backpack.
Jesus
So I'm like
Christ.
tapping. I'm like tapping. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just putting a Pokemon in the gym here." He's like, "There's no gym here." I was like, "In the game, in the game." And the guy that was riding with him goes, taps him, and I'm pretty sure he's like, "She's playing Pokemon, like so and so, like one of their colleagues." And he looked at me. He's like, "Are you playing a game?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I mean." And he's like, "How old are you?" And I was like 30 something, whatever, right? And he's like, "I'm gonna need you to rethink your life and your choices and what you're doing right now.
Hey,
Please be safe. Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." It's like, "All right, go home when you're done. Go home."
I mean,
And he
he's
left.
not wrong, but not because of the game. Because there was meth in your front seat.
He didn't know. But, like they never even made their way over to talk to me. They just yelled out of the window.
He was right, but for the wrong reasons.
All of it was funny. I mean, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I probably shouldn't have been out there, but
It's fucking hilarious. Well, look, we have run over a lot of time, and we've had some very interesting conversations tonight. I want to thank everybody for stopping by for viewing the stream. As always, it's appreciated. Like I told them, I'm gonna try dual streaming come Monday. Hopefully, I can figure out fully how that works.
who we do streaming with?
Well, no, when I say dual streaming, I mean like doing Twitch and YouTube at the same time, simultaneously.
Oh,
Last time I
uh,
tried it, Twitch.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
had a heart
Your
attack.
computer. Yeah, I was gonna say your computer might not like that very much.
It was Twitch. Twitch just had a heart attack. YouTube went running. Twitch was like error. You know what I'm saying?
Um,
So if it happens again, then I might just choose the Twitch platform and just upload onto YouTube. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna try to figure that out, and then we're gonna have some more discussions come Monday. We're gonna see how this mayor's situation turns out this weekend. Do some follow up with
mhm.
that, and we're gonna talk some more relationship and some more resiliency stuff. You know, because I was finally able to get all my resiliency training materials out of my archive. Um, and yeah,
We were just talking about teaching the toddlers resilience.
there we go. So yeah, show them this video and that'll be that. But yeah, thank y'all for coming out. Y'all have a good evening and have a good night.